Today we are covering the shocking findings of the latest annual watch market report, the new release from Omega, and a Cartier Tank copy that could potentially ruffle a lot of feathers. Hi everyone, my name is Jenny, and I know from my own experience how hard it is to keep up with the news and watch news especially. So to make life easier for you, I filter through all the blogs and sites to bring you the most important watch stories and releases of the past couple of days. So lean back, turn up the volume, and let's get you updated. Right, so in terms of industry watch news, we've had the annual watch charts report coming in out in cooperation with Morgan Stanley, and the numbers are, oh buddy, they are very interesting. And by the way, if you want to watch a full recap on that report with all the important numbers and what they actually mean, go check out my last video I did on this. I will link it for you down below in my description box, so you can go watch it after you're done with this one. So yeah, let me give you a quick rundown of the most important facts and findings of this report. So prices for Swiss watches on the secondary market, they kept falling in the first quarter of 2025, but the drop, which was a 0.4% compared with the previous quarter, was the smallest in almost 3 years. So this makes 12 quarters in a row that resale prices have slipped. So who did well and who did badly? Well, privately owned brands such as Rolex, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet held up best. Rolex even inched up about 0.4% quarter on quarter. Only 2 of the 35 Swiss brands that were tracked, Rolex and Montblanc, managed any quarterly price rise. The listed groups, they lagged behind. LVMH suffered the steepest fall with, I think it was negative 3.2% Q on Q, which means quarter on quarter. Which means, compared to the immediately preceding quarter, and 0.85% year on year, which means compared with the same quarter the year earlier. Tag Heuer and Hublot pulled the group down, although Bulgari and Zenith slipped by less than 1%. Richemont overall declined by low single digits. Cartier was a bright spot with a negative 1.1% Q on Q, and now secures about 8% of the global primary market. But Vacheron Constantin, Jaeger-LeCoultre, and IWC all weakened by 2 to 3%. Swatch Group dropped 2.5% quarter on quarter. Flagship brand Omega fell only. Yet labels like Swatch, they dropped 8.9%, and Tissot dropped 11.6%. They really did plunge quite a lot. So yeah, even though prices are down, the number of watches offered for pre-sale is up, and items are still selling at the same speed. This shows ongoing demand, but just at lower prices. Buyers appear to be shifting towards the so-called safer names to keep their value. Think of Rolex, Cartier, AP, Patek Philippe, and away from weaker listed brands. And then the shoppers learn more, it seems, about resale values. They may decide that mid-tier watch brands such as A. Lange & Söhne or IWC are bargains on the second-hand market, often like 30 to 40% below shop prices, and that could overall just hurt new watch sales. In terms of outlook, you can say the following things. Swiss watch exports fell 2.4% in the first 2 months of this year, and trade tariff worries, they just add uncertainty. Morgan Stanley expects sales of new watches on the primary market to shrink by at least high single-digit percentages this year, after falling 2.8% last year. The brokerage also sees the 3 quoted groups, LVMH, Richemont, and Swatch, to continue to trail the broader market. There was also, by the way, a very cool chapter in this report about Rolex CPO, the Certified Pre-Owned program that has launched in December of 2022. Even though they expected it to grow, there were no new partners joining the program, but instead partners leaving it. And then there was also a very cool and very interesting difference between the stock held by CPO partners and the lines or collections of Rolex watches that sold the best or had the highest value retention on the secondary market. Not sure what to make of it, but yeah, if you want to get the full scope and everything else, check out my video after finishing this one. And we're going to now move over to the releases. And let's start off with something that I have already teased on my Instagram story. By the way, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, you need to do so right now. It is Jenni L, spelled same as here on YouTube. I will link it for you in the description box. So yeah, I was just sitting on my computer, and then I got a little inbox notification from a newsletter I honestly never knew I was subscribed to, but it's fine. It was from Maurice Lacroix, and they have released a new Fiaba watch. According to Maurice Lacroix, Fiaba is Italian for fairy tale, and the Fiaba collection is meant to reimagine the classics that came before in a more creative way, or something along those lines. And so it happens that they have reimagined a Cartier Tank. The first tank was released in 1911 and has been a huge hit ever since. A Cartier Tank with a similar case dimension and also housing a quartz movement currently goes for a retail price of about 3,900, while the Fiaba costs you about 900 Swiss francs, which is a bit over $1,000. It is available on different colored leather straps, case colors, and you also get a steel bracelet too if you want. The crown is much flatter compared to its Paragon, and there are also small differences in terms of dial design, but they both have the iconic, of course, black or Roman numerals and the cornflower blued hands, whereas Cartier has the classic sword hands, while Maurice Lacroix uses hands with a bit of a belly. What's really cool to me is this rectangular guilloche square in the middle on the Maurice Lacroix that adds a bit more dynamic to the dial to me, because this one doesn't have the train tracks, and otherwise it would just look very empty in my opinion, so I'm glad they added it to it. Overall, it is a pretty cool alternative to the Cartier Tank, and you know, if you're not willing to spend a bit more than double for the real deal, that's fine. It is, again, perhaps a bit of a walking the line situation, because where does one draw the line between a copy and an homage? Anyways, just, you know, something I wanted to show you. I think it is a very interesting release. And yeah, every time I wear my discontinued Sacred Tank, I get so many questions about an alternative. So this could be one. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this a copy or an homage? And before we continue with the next release, I'm so happy to finally be able to announce that our watch rolls are going to be back in stock very soon. We are so close to hitting the start button on our production, but before doing so, we need your help. We want our watch rolls to be truly the best of the best. So I want to ask for your help and your input on this. Please click on the link in the pinned comment down below and share with me what's most important to you when it comes to watch rolls. Let me know what you want to see, what features are most important to you. I promise it will only take 30 seconds and it would truly help us to make the best product yet. So yeah, be on the lookout for the launch dates. I will also keep showing them here on YouTube and on Instagram. Make sure to follow me there. It is Jenni L, spelled like the YouTube channel. And let's go back to the video, to the next release. And perhaps you have heard about this by now. Omega has released the next generation of their, what I can only describe as the stepchild collection. It's a new Railmaster. According to Omega, the two new 38mm designs bring the Railmaster closer to for the first release of the Railmaster, the original from 1957, while still being true to the modern Aquaterra, because they're very closely related. So yeah, let's take a quick look at those two new Omega babies. So there is your well-known Omega Aquaterra case with a 38mm diameter, a height of 12.4, and a lug-to-lug of a very compact 44.9. So this is a good centimeter smaller than a 36mm Oyster Perpetual, for example. So this is definitely Itsy Bitsy Wrist Committee approved. The case is waterproof up to 150 meters, so no problemo if that is going to be your one and done watch, because you can pretty much do everything with that one. Only, of course, if you get it on the steel bracelet, but we'll get to that. Anyways, we've got two new dial variants. It is both with a gradient, going from a light color in the center to a darker one on the outside. One is in this warm brown tone. The other one has a very cool toned stone gray color. The brown version sports a small second south dial at 6 with the Railmaster lettering below the logo at 12, while the gray one comes without a subdial. So we've got a regular center second, and Omega decided to put the Railmaster writing on the bottom instead here, because now they've got space. The hands are your classic Omega arrow hands with the iconic pointy triangle hour markers, except for the Arabic numerals. So you've got 12, 3, 6, and 9, you know, depending which dial color you have. The bracelet is the same as we know it from the Aquaterra, but this new Railmaster on the bracelet also has a micro adjustment on the clasp, which I think is a very cool update, and I'm sure they will eventually spread it out to the others too. It is powered by Omega's in-house 8806 coaxial master caliber, and the recommended retail price for the gray dial with the bracelet is $5,400, and the brown dial with the subdial, yeah, that's right, goes for $6,000. Reviews online have been quite mixed about this one. The Railmaster is in itself not really the most popular line from Omega to begin with. It has always been very niche and yeah, the Omega Seamaster, Railmaster, it just doesn't really have a good ring to it. Let's be real. It is a bit confusing. This one also feels like a massive throwback to the Ranchero line. I think Ranchero is Spanish for, was it ranch hand? Or ranch helper, not sure, sorry. A watch Omega first released in 1958, so this is a long, long time ago, which was also part of the Seamaster line and also not a big hit back then. I think they've tried to revive that in the 70s and it flopped too, so I guess we're back again. I've seen some comments about how this could be a cool alternative to the Rolex Explorer, you know, especially with the gray dial. I'm just having a hard time putting my finger on this watch. Somehow it feels like something is missing, just a little bit of something that could take it to the next level or a better level. I don't know. I think it's too much of a Railmaster to be an Aquaterra, and it's too much to an Aquaterra to be like its own Railmaster. It's a confusing watch. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. Like design-wise, there's nothing wrong with it. This is like a very cool-looking, simple, clean watch from Omega. But something's lacking. I don't know. Can't put my finger on it. Like I said, maybe you can let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts on this are, if you like it or not. Like I said, this has been a mixed bag, and reviews out of this have been also very mixed. So curious to see what you guys think. I'm happy that it is smaller than, I think the Railmaster before was 40 or 41 millimeter. So 38, as someone with smaller wrists, is always good news for me. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. And this is pretty much all I have for you guys today. Please don't forget to fill out the survey. It only takes you 30 seconds, I promise. Helps out a lot. It's pinned here in the comments and I'll put it in my description box. Thank you so much if you do that. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and on my Instagram to not miss out on any new videos. And thank you so much for watching this one today. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.